So, welcome to episode 2 of our podcast, which we have named
Gaijin Stories Japan.
Gaijin Stories Japan. Remember that? Yeah. All right. So, last week we were talking about 3 things each as to why we decided to come to Japan as a country. So, those of you, those viewers and listeners who are keen on knowing, hey, why should you, as a foreigner, come to Japan? Hey, you can check out the first episode of our podcast. The second one today is why did we choose out of all the cities, all the places in Japan, why Fukuoka? Like, hey, why not Tokyo, right?
Yeah, why Fukuoka?
So again, similar to what we did last week, why don't we do 3 reasons each? Okay, so why Fukuoka?
My first reason probably has to do with I've been living in Kyushu for 4.5 years. So Kyushu, the island that Fukuoka's on. I lived in Beppu and Oita for about 4.5 years. Yeah, I lived there for 4.5 years. And so I didn't feel that I was ready for big city yet. And so Fukuoka is close. It's comfortable. From Beppu and Oita, it's not too much difference like Tokyo would be. So it was kind of easy for me to move here from Beppu.
So there are 3 things that Ethan mentioned, right? You have Japan and it's Kyushu, an island of Japan on the west side.
Kind of like the west-south, biggest island.
Yeah. And in this island comprises of 7 prefectures, and he was mentioning Oita, which is famous for
hot springs. It's
famous for I think it's famous for hot springs.
Yeah.
And Fukuoka is kind of like the financial capital of Kyushu.
I mean, it's just the main city.
Yeah. People tend to go. I feel that people tend to go to Fukuoka for work.
Yeah.
I will talk about that more later. Okay. So the first one was more comfort for yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. For kind of comfort.
So for myself, the first thing, just a bit of backstory. Originally, this is my second time in Japan. The first time I was actually in Tokyo. And 3.5 years in Tokyo made me kind of I wouldn't say jaded, but it's more of, this is another big city. It's lively, sure, but after you kind of fought through enough battles when you are trying to commute between different places in Tokyo, trust me, nobody enjoys it. Okay, it's like a battlefield, especially Shinjuku Station. Anybody who's visited Shinjuku, you will know exactly what I mean.
Yeah.
So I had to commute every day and pass through Shinjuku without fail. When I was in Tokyo, I didn't enjoy it.
Oh, that's
So
terrible.
so yes, this time, for my sanity as well, I mean, I don't really expect much of commute in Fukuoka, partly because I chose to live kind of central. I live in the central part of Fukuoka, so the commute is not much. But it's also, generally, it's not as packed here.
Yeah.
Those of you who have lived in Tokyo, you know exactly what I mean. Not packed in the train, not packed in the stores, not packed anywhere, except for the main station, right, in Fukuoka. So the comfort in terms of population density is also one thing that I was considering when I was choosing the city. How about your second one?
Shinjuku. Yeah, you're right.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you've seen it before, right? Yeah.
I got lost there.
After a while, you kind of get used to it.
But it's under construction right now.
Oh yeah. They're trying to make it more user friendly. It's not possible, but oh well.
But it's worse because it's under construction.
Oh.
The signs are missing and stuff. The signs that would be on a wall. There's no wall, so there's no sign.
So those of you who happen to be traveling in Japan right now in late 2022, well, good luck to people.
Shinjuku Station is
Yes.
a nightmare right now.
Don't bother going there. Okay, so Ethan, what's your second one?
Well, I guess I'd have to say after going to school and hustling in university, I had to work part-time to pay for my living expenses. So it was stressful, doing school and working a lot. So I kind of just wanted to take it easy. And I think that Fukuoka was a good place for me to just take it easy. And my job I got in Fukuoka is a really nice job to take it easy. It's not a stressful job at all.
No, I mean, it depends on the person. Some people do like stress. Some people want a relatively quiet time. And I think you chose the right place.
At least I don't know. Maybe I'll go to Tokyo someday. I don't know. But I wanted the break.
Yeah.
Just at least just a break from just eat, just relax.
Because I know exactly what you mean because it's kind of similar to what we brought up just now. I went to Tokyo for a business trip last month, and immediately after living here for about 3 months, when I went to Haneda Airport. That's the airport that's nearer to the Tokyo city, not Narita. There are two airports in Tokyo, one called Haneda H and one called Narita, starts with N. Right. So the moment I alighted from the plane, I went into the train station. Immediately, I can feel that the atmosphere is very different from Fukuoka and Tokyo because people walk faster.
Yeah.
They seem to want to get to their destination no matter what. Whereas here, you still can see kind of. I mean, people do rush around sometimes, sure, but in Fukuoka, you just get the word in Japanese. They will say non-biri. Non-biri is kind of like at your own pace. More chill. So Fukuoka, I won't say embodies, but has the more non-biri, the more chill factor. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Mm-hmm. So I get exactly what you mean. For a chill lifestyle, you could do worse than Fukuoka. So my second point is kind of similar, kind of. I wanted some place where I can do work without getting too stressed out about life, right?
Yeah.
I mean, sure. I'm to be honest, I'm here for business, as in literally, I'm here to start my own business. However, I still want to try something different, and I still want like extra space in my life. In Japan, you would say yoyu, right? Like a buffer in my life to explore different things, to try different things. I mean, those of you, especially those of you running a business, you know that running a business is already stressful enough. Right? You don't need your surroundings to be adding stress to you. You don't want to have to squeeze with people on the train. You don't want people to like push you when you're walking too slowly. Yes? So yeah, I thought that Fukuoka, the vibes, the city, the atmosphere here, generally it's nicer to start anything. Right?
Yeah, for sure.
The only con of starting a business here, yes, I'm talking about like the chill vibes, but the only con of starting a business here, which I will be talking about more in future episodes, is that in the end, the financial capital of Japan is still Tokyo.
Yeah.
Right. Nobody can deny that. Right. So if you want money, just go to Tokyo. But you get all the cons that come with it. Okay?
All the opportunities are really in Tokyo.
Yes. But all the tight, cramped housing are also there. So if you want to live in a coffin, sure, go to Tokyo and live in a coffin there. For the same price, you can get a very nice unit. I mean, I'm not going to do a house tour now, but for the same price, you get a nice place in Fukuoka. So, I'll start with the third one. So, my third one was more of practicality. Because when I was planning my comeback, literally my comeback in Japan, so I went back to Singapore due to COVID. I came back to Japan hoping to try and challenge myself in Japan one more time. So, it's practical because Fukuoka is one of the first few cities in Japan who offered what they call a startup visa program. What the Fukuoka government does is they offer this 6-month visa for potential entrepreneurs to come in and try to launch their business. If you manage to launch successfully, incorporate your company, launch successfully, your visa will automatically renew from 6 months and they will stack another 1 year on top of the 6 months. So Fukuoka was one of the first, not that it's the only one. From my understanding, there's at least 6 cities across Japan offering this startup visa program. But Fukuoka was the first because the government apparently back then, I cannot remember the date, the year, but back then the government kind of earmarked Fukuoka as the place to go for startups.
Yeah.
So that's why I think there were some news articles here and there.
Yeah, I think there was.
And also, the mayor now, hopefully he will still be the mayor after this podcast, right? Because we are in election season now.
True.
The mayor, he was one of the figures who kind of started this entire program. So me choosing Fukuoka was also due to practical reasons because of the support that they gave to entrepreneurs. I will be talking about that more since it's kind of part of Japan life, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yes, Ethan, you're number 3.
So I was living in Beppu, and it's a really small place. So you can't really meet people, as in like connections, like meet people for opportunities, connections, just to work together on something. Doesn't even matter what it is. It's just harder to meet people.
Like, hey, you met me, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like just like this. Like it's pretty much like most of the people I met were either just like people who've always been in Beppu, they're not really doing a lot, or they're like APU students, which nothing against the students. I'm one.
Yeah.
It's like a nice change of environment to just meet people outside of that circle. Because like it's kind of like I was in a closed circle, always like the same type of group. Even if there was new people I met, it was kind of the same group, and I just wanted to broaden like just my like opportunities and like get to like know more people, and I kind of wanted to start doing like making videos. So my other thought was that while Kyushu doesn't have a lot of like content.
Not yet.
There's just not a lot of content on Kyushu. So I thought, well, it's kind of like a good point to travel anywhere in Kyushu from Fukuoka, because you got like the Shinkansen for Kyushu. You got if you got Hakata State, you can kind of go.
Yeah, we're both based in Hakata, which is kind of like the transport hub of Fukuoka.
So like previously, I lived in Oita, and Oita is really mountainous.
Yeah.
So you kind of on the coast, and then like in 2016 there was that earthquake in Kumamoto.
Oh yes.
So the train is still down, I believe.
Between where to where?
Oita and Kumamoto.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
The mountains. At least when I lived there, like last year, you had to still take a bus to Kumamoto from Oita. Or you take the train in the Shinkansen, and it actually was quicker to go from Oita to Fukuoka to Kumamoto.
That's like a huge detour around the northern side and down south again. So
so instead of just straight line, you can go like that by train. You can go by bus, but it's kind of slow. Even before, like when the train line operated, it still wasn't so easy to get to other places just because of how mountainous it is. So I feel like Fukuoka is a good point to just like travel around Kyushu. To like, because we can easily go to Nagasaki or Saga, Oita, and Kumamoto, really close.
Yeah, because I mean, again, because of the thing about the transport hub, yes?
Yeah.
And plus, I see your point about meeting people, right? That's your main point, right? Because I mean, okay, number one, we met each other here in Fukuoka, right? It sounds weird, but yeah, we met each other, okay? And the second thing is, I mean, I run my own small company here, and the networking opportunities here are pretty good. So as long as a business person, you're signed up with co-working spaces, right? You can meet other members of the co-working space, and there are events here. I would assume that events are not as common in places outside of Fukuoka, because again, as we mentioned just now, Fukuoka is like the financial center of Kyushu, right? So I mean, when I went to Oita, it's like it's a big city, but I don't get the cosmopolitan vibe as much there. Of course, again, I'm not saying from Fukuoka we can fight with Tokyo. No,
of course.
No, I mean, sad to say, even Osaka and Yokohama cannot fight with Tokyo, right? It's still the place to be if you want to meet like a bunch of people, and plus a whole bunch of people are packed like sardines in Tokyo. But it's a good balance.
Yeah, like Beppu's main industry is tourism.
Hot spring, yes.
Tourism, hot spring. And like I think Oita's main industry, like Oita City, is probably like, I think it's industrial. I think they have a big industry because like there's no beach; it's just factories.
Yeah, I don't really hear of people going to the beach area in Oita, right?
There's like some like far away like beaches that are good, but like Oita City itself, it's, from what I saw, the coastline is pretty industrial. Like really industrial, just big factories.
And it's the same for Nagasaki. Right? Nagasaki is like, other than the American base, like, I mean, you have tourism spots, but they're really scattered.
But Nagasaki City is a really nice place to visit.
Yeah, for sure.
It's beautiful.
So yes, please go to Nagasaki. Like for myself, other reasons. So I know we promised only 3, but when you are running a business here, or when you want to start a business or run a business, you gotta think of several things.
Like the market.
For example, the market. I'm going a bit more of a business slant here, but some of the reasons why I chose Fukuoka for business. Partly one, the visa thing. Number 2, it is kind of known as a test bed for Japan in general. Even for companies in Japan, they tend to use Fukuoka for pilot launches. I heard that. For F&B, especially for F&B, for whatever reason, I'm not sure. But for F&B, for different things, even for international companies working in Fukuoka, they tend to use it here to test launch. And if it works here, then they expand it to the rest of Japan, especially Tokyo.
I heard that. I heard that.
Not sure why that is. I should probably research on that more. That's one. Another thing, very clear. You use it often as well. What is very near Hakata City? I mean the Hakata station. 10 minutes away by subway.
10 minutes away? Tianjin?
No, the other side.
The airport.
Yes. Yes. You use it often, right?
Yeah,
that was also one of the things. I mean, how many cities in Japan? I really don't know. But how many cities in Japan can boast?
Just in general, really.
Yeah. Okay. How many cities in general can say that? Hey, you can reach your nearest international airport, which can go to at least 10 or 20 countries at least.
Quite a lot.
Yeah, quite a lot of countries. Just 10 minutes subway right away. And the subway connects directly to the international terminal, if I'm not.
No, domestic terminal.
Domestic, okay. But still. It's, the airport itself is connected by the subway. So that is a huge plus for businesses.
And right. It's like, the airport's in the middle of the city, basically. Not quite the middle, but it's very central location.
That's why actually from my apartment I can see planes flying overhead sometimes.
So that's true. I kind of forgot about that. It's not why I chose Fukuoka, but it's one of those things that
plus.
Like just living here, there's these pluses that I've like learned from like other people here or just by experience. Like the airport. Like when I lived in Beppu, like Oita has an airport, but it's not even in Oita city. It's like 45 minutes the opposite direction.
Where? The point being is I don't even know where the heck is Oita Airport. Like
it's not in Oita city.
Yeah. And I know for sure, like, okay, for example, Narita, the famous airport for Tokyo. It's not even in Tokyo. It's in Chiba. Like, people think that it's in Tokyo. No, it's like 1 hour away from Tokyo.
And that's only just because the trains are really good.
Yeah. It's the trains are fast. That's why it feels like it's still part of Tokyo.
Yeah.
But whereas in Fukuoka, literally, if you go to a high enough building, you can see the freaking airport from Fukuoka City.
Yeah, it's a really good location.
And another thing that I tend to see business organizations promote here is Fukuoka in general is a very small city. We've also experienced it a few times. How many times have you walked from the nightlife area back to your place?
Yeah, it's pretty small. It's but I mean we both chose the central location.
Oh, okay, sure.
There are suburbs of Fukuoka. I think a lot of families live in like the suburb areas.
Yes.
But like the central area, it's pretty like walkable, the entire area.
No, but to be honest, because yesterday I just tried walking to like the suburban areas, right? And Fukuoka city is compact enough. I cannot remember the exact number. I think it's about 300 kilometers square, which in the grand scheme of things is kind of small. Okay, I mean. Oh yeah, in the US you all don't use American kilometers, right?
Okay.
Sorry. Basically,
I know kilometers.
Yeah, but basically 300 kilometers square is a very small land area for a city. So Fukuoka city itself is not that small because what was it again just now? Utah, right?
Like my hometown, my home area, like Salt Lake City.
It's about the same size.
Salt Lake City itself is like 287 kilometers, so it's like Fukuoka City is a little bigger.
But for some reason, when you live in the city area, I'm not talking about the fringes, like the the 300 kilometers square includes the mountains, the coastal areas, you know. So if we're just talking about the city, the urban area, it's walkable. It's walkable. It happens here.
Yeah.
Okay, what else do you want to say?
And beaches are pretty good. Not in Fukuoka itself. You can like a short drive or train ride away. You can go to Itoshima where there's like really great beaches. So like in the summer, it's really nice in the summer.
So Itoshima is on the western side. It's like this peninsula, right?
Yeah.
Peninsula on the west side of
Fukuoka. It's like the peninsula.
So it's a bit further off because you can't reach it by subway. So my impression of Fukuoka,
you can take the subway, which turns into a train and goes to Itoshima City.
Yeah. That I know is like kind of the direct train conversion thing.
But yeah, without a car, it is not so convenient to go to the beaches.
Yeah, Fukuoka, you have business, you have beaches, you have mountains, there's a few mountains around the area.
Yeah, it's a good place for like, especially like it's honestly better with the car because
Yeah.
city life you don't need at all. But
Mm.
like it's easy to go to the mountains or go to the beach if you had a car.
The buses are not dysfunctional, but it's a bit slow, and you kind of have to work your schedule around the
Yeah.
bus timings.
Yeah, but like that's just buses. They are reliable,
It's not bad. It's not bad.
but you know you have to deal with traffic on a bus.
And the roads are not exactly super wide all the time. So just something to be careful of. So basically that's about it for Fukuoka, right? Any last things that we missed out? Fukuoka is the so-called should be if I don't remember wrongly, is the birthplace of ramen. Tonkotsu ramen, at least confirmed.
It's the birthplace of Tonkotsu, right?
I'm 100% sure it's the birthplace of Tonkotsu ramen. So for example, things like Ichiran, Ippudo, famous chains around Japan, they came from Fukuoka. That's without a doubt.
Like most people who like ramen and go to ramen restaurants all over the world, you probably have seen Tonkotsu ramen.
Yes, the basically pork bone based ramen, right?
And like Fukuoka is the birthplace of that.
Yes.
So you can get really good, really cheap ramen.
Yeah, man, I just had like good ramen for $11. Yes, no, $11 Singapore dollars.
So
it's
like,
not even US dollars.
US dollars, so it was like
1.5.
1,100 yen.
1,100 yen.
Then probably like $7, $8.
By 2022 currency exchange rates.
Yeah.
Don't quote us in 20 years later.
Fall 2022.
Yeah.
But like you can get cheaper.
Yeah.
There's like there's restaurants that's like 350 yen, so like in dollars it'd be like 2 USD.
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. It's not very far from my apartment.
And like it's good.
Okay, let me qualify that a little bit. If you compare the 350 yen ramen with the 1,000 yen ramen, obviously you pay for something the price difference. But all things to be fair, it's not bad.
The 3,000 yen one is
the 1,000.
the 300 yen one, like $2 one, is probably going to just have like one piece of meat and like the noodles and broth, and you pay extra for like eggs and more meat. So like it's really good, but it is more simple. Yeah. So when I say you pay for what you get, the 1,000 yen one is like you get the egg, the full egg, you get at least 4 or 5 slices of pork, we call it char siu, right, which is what, roasted pork. Yeah, and there's like not just tonkotsu, they also have like motunabe, but I'm not a big fan of that because I don't really like eating intestines. Oh, I'm a fan of it because I like the texture. It's very polarizing. Like if you like, I don't like the texture. That's why I don't like it. The flavor was good, but I just can't. I tried it. You know, I tried it. I tried it. Mentaiko. Yeah, it's a bit salty for me. I liked it. It's like it's like this fish roll. Spicy fish roll. It's like a little spicy. Is it spicy? I thought it's salty. No, maybe we just have different versions. Maybe we just have there's a lot of fish roll here. Yeah. And you have the pig skin. And fried pig skin. And yakitori. So because you know I teach English, right? I ask my students to tell me things about Fukuoka. Fukuoka and everywhere there's yakitori, but apparently the kinds of yakitori is a lot more vast. You have a lot more flavors and different types of yakitori. I didn't know that. Like Tokyo maybe has like 3, and like Fukuoka has like 10. Okay, maybe I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure, but like that's what I've been told. I haven't really eaten yakitori in Tokyo, so I don't know. I have not eaten proper yakitori here. I mean, I've eaten it. But like the yakitori restaurants, there's like a lot of variety of yakitori in Fukuoka. Okay. I think we will have to try. We have to try and see whether there's really that much of a big of a difference between Fukuoka and Tokyo, right? Yeah. So that's it for food, and basically here those are some of the benefits that we were talking about for choosing Fukuoka compared to, let's say, places like Tokyo, Osaka, Yokohama, right? So yes, please visit Fukuoka, please visit Kyushu. Yeah. And for our YouTube viewers, leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. And if you have any questions, comments, thoughts, opinions, leave them down in the comments. For those people listening on podcasts, so please like, subscribe, follow. I cannot remember, though, depending on the platform, depending on the platform you're on. So like or follow or subscribe us. Are there any comments on the podcast? Depends on the platform. Maybe. Yeah. If you want to leave any comments in the podcast, please feel free.
If you wanna drop us an email, you can probably find it in our is it called bio or profile?
Whatever platform.
Okay. Whatever it is, you can probably find our contact. Yeah. So if you have anything, you can feel free to contact us with questions. Okay. So this is
It's been Gaijin Stories Japan.
yes, Gaijin Stories Japan. I'm Chris.
I'm Ethan.
And we'll see you next week.
Yeah, see you next time.